Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Bat here. Hope you're doing well. So, we had a new movie come out, I think, 2 weeks ago called The Creator, starring John David Washington. And I was looking forward to this movie. I liked the trailer. I actually do like sci-fi films. I'm a big fan. You got John David Washington, who I'm enjoying as an actor. Imani comes from one of the best actors in Hollywood, Denzel Washington's son. And we started September with The Equalizer 3, ended it with The Creator. Like I said, even though I didn't see this until now, it did come out at the end of September. So, let's get into it. It's also directed by Gareth Edwards, who did the Godzilla remake in 2014, and then he did Rogue One, Star Wars film, for Disney in 2016. I'm not too big on either of those movies, but those were both still in the sci-fi genre, if you will. So let's get into it. Positives. John David Washington. He's, in this movie, he shows a lot of range as the lead of the film. You see him like in a romantic relationship with Gemma Chan. You see him being this leader trying to, do this mission, find this person or robot, if you will, and destroy it. Obviously from the trailer you realize it's a little girl, child robot, and you start to see almost like that parental figure in him. And I think he does an amazing job in this movie. I liked him more than I did when I saw him in Tenet, the Christopher Nolan film. I think he brings some humor. I think he brings some romance. He brings a lot of serious, dramatic moments, emotional moments. And I thought he was the perfect lead for this movie. I also want to give a shout out to Madeline Boyles. She plays the little girl robot in this movie. She is amazing. Like, it always impresses me when you get these child actresses and like this is like their first film and they just almost upstage everyone else in the movie. Whether it's John David Washington, whether it's Ken Watanabe, whether it's Allison Janney. I mean, this little girl has emotional moments. She has dramatic moments. She brings a lot of the humor in this movie. Like, every time she said something, every time there was like a funny moment, it came from her, and I was always laughing every single time. So for a young actress to be in this big sci-fi film and to upstage everyone in the movie, amazing. Also the supporting cast, Allison Janney plays the military leader, trying to round up these robots and kill them. I like seeing her in that role, that authoritative role. It reminded me of some of the women in Aliens, like Ripley. That hard, military, or even Sarah Connor, if you will. You also got Ken Watanabe in here, who's a robot. I like Ken Watanabe. I was even thinking that the other night. I haven't seen Ken Watanabe in a movie in a while. Maybe since the last Godzilla movie in 2014 that Gareth Edwards directed. You also got Gemma Chan in here, who is always really good. No, even the supporting cast I enjoyed. The visuals and cinematography in this movie cannot be understated. For a movie that only cost $80 million to make, 8-0, it is cost less than probably 90% of the movies that have come out this year, or more. Even Oppenheimer was made for over $100 million. This movie is a visual feast. The cinematography and CGI effects are amazing. Amazing. It reminded me of District 9 in that way, a movie that was also a futuristic sci-fi movie that cost I think it cost like 40 million to make, or less, maybe 20 million. And it's just a visual, cinematic feast to watch on the big screen. Humor, like I said, a lot of the humor comes from the little girl. Also, John David Washington has his moments to shine. This movie also has a lot of emotional moments. Especially when we get near the end of the movie. But also at the beginning with John David Washington's character. I liked how this movie had a lot of range to it. Dramatic, emotional, humor, all of the special effects. I think Gareth Edwards did a great job in this movie. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Godzilla or even Rogue One, but I think this is his best film so far. It's an original script, even though I'm going to get into the negatives about that also. But I think this really showed, without him working in a studio, franchise like Godzilla or Star Wars, this is his own baby that he co-wrote or wrote, directed, and he got it to be only $80 million. It's a very huge highlight for him as a director to be like, this is what I did. My biggest negative with this movie is even though it is an original movie, you see a lot of the inspirations for this film. You got aliens. Like I said, instead of a group of military people going in to kill aliens, they're going in to kill robots. You got a lot of Star Wars influence. Like I said, Gareth Edwards in Rogue One. You have a scene where this robot that almost looks like an R2-D2 robot. And you're like, yeah, that's definitely Star Wars influence. You got even iRobot, the Will Smith 2004 film. I saw a lot of that in this movie. You got Blade Runner. There's a number of scenes that I thought, that looks right out of Blade Runner. You got Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 influence. AI being sentient. Starting the nuclear war. In Terminator 2 you got John Connor teaching, the T-800 and the T-1000 Arnold how to be more human-like. You got John David Washington teaching this little girl robot how to be more human. Talk more like a human. And then you got like Dancing with Wolves meets The Last Samurai. Especially since The Last Samurai had Ken Watanabe in it. There you go. So I did see a lot of influences in this movie, and there's probably others. Like I could even say there's a Fast and Furious 4 that was like, oh, that's out of Fast and Furious 4. Okay. So I did see a lot of movies that were clearly inspired to make this film, to write this script. I mean, that's not really a negative. Every movie is obviously inspired by something or another, even if something very small. Well, like I said, I did notice all these inspirations, and there's probably a lot more. But I would still give this a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was a very good movie. Great acting by John David Washington and the girl Madeline. The action scenes were good. Special effects, cinematography, music. Also like the music in this movie. So, did you see The Creator? What did you think? I know I'm a little bit behind on this, but I finally got around to seeing it. Let me know in the comments below. Matt the Bat here.